So I just published a video about an article. I kind of spoofed it a little bit because the woman here, Lita Fisher, she was writing about should white boys still be allowed to talk. Now, how did I get to this rabbit hole? Well, I got here through Breitbart. Dickinson's student newspaper, The Idea of the White Man, has become obsolete. In the same newspaper, a week later or so, it was written by Kevin Sonko, who obviously is majoring in gender studies or some crap, right? And that led me to a different article in Yale. And this one is absolutely amazing, and I will link it below. Yale University student newspaper, I'm watching you, white boy. Basically, this woman is saying, I'm watching all you white guys, so later in your life, when you're going to be like Brett Kavanaugh to get on the Supreme Court, I'm going to torpedo your career because of something you may or may not have said at some point in the past. Devin James makes an interesting comment on the video I just posted. I hope your viewers carefully read the article you linked. Take them seriously because they aren't fucking around. Devin, I completely agree with you. And I really don't think a lot of people are understanding the danger that we are in with these people. We're facing serious danger. A lot of people just don't pay as much attention to these things as I do. Of course, my hobby is to bring these stories to you. So, of course, I'm looking for these things. But a lot of people don't look for these things. A lot of people, as a matter of fact, I was talking to someone the other day, and I mentioned, turns out he's from Virginia. And I said, hey, did you ever heard that controversy with the Virginia governor and the lieutenant governor and all that? He's like, nah, I don't pay attention to that. I'm like, how could you not know this? I mean, do you listen to the radio? Do you watch television? Do you read the news on the internet? Do you get a newspaper? I know that's kind of old-fashioned. You know, there still are newspapers. There's a lot of sources to get this information. Now, if you're listening to the mainstream media, you're just going to hear, whatever. I don't even know what this. But these people don't even listen to that. They have this guy had no concept that there was something wrong with the governor and lieutenant governor of Virginia. That lieutenant governor's been accused of rape, and the governor has been accused of blackface and whatever. This guy had no idea. He didn't even realize anything was going on. And the worst part is I don't really think he cared about this. About a man being accused of something, of course, with no evidence, just like Kavanaugh. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy didn't even know about Kavanaugh. He is not a stupid guy. He's a very, very intelligent guy. But he doesn't have time to look into this stuff. He's got a family, he's got kids, and all of these other things. And what kind of brought me to this conclusion, well, I've known all along, me and my buddy John have said forever, a lot of people can only do first base argumentation. They can't go to second base or third base. It's only first base. And I'm starting to see that it isn't even that. Now, as you know, I'm not a particularly good feminist, of course. And I mentioned to another guy at work about this. You remember, I'll try to link it below. There was an idea floated, and I mean, this sounds so foreign. It sounds like something someone would make up, but it's not. Evidently in Canada, women and men, but women in this case in particular, you're not allowed to carry pepper spray. You can't use that as a method of defending against, a rapist or someone who's going to mug you or what have you like that. And so a couple of years ago, one of the people, who was a woman running for prime minister, I believe that was the case, she said she wanted to remove that law so that women could carry pepper spray or mace or whatever to allow them to have some protection if they are attacked. If some guy tries to grab them, in the bushes, whatever, they could blast them with the pepper spray. Very effective, I understand. And of course, the government at the time said, of course, that would somehow be oppressive to women or something like that because they're going to spend money on teaching men not to rape. And that's going to solve the problem. So women, they shouldn't have to carry pepper spray. I mean, you're putting the burden on them. You see how they twist these things around? And so the 99.7% of men who do not rape, you could tell us, hey, we agree, we're not going to do that. But it's the rapists that don't really care. Your head wants to explode. But this guy, I said, I mentioned this to him. And he looked at me, oh, come on, you're full of shit. No way. What are you talking about? That's crazy. How could that possibly be true? Guy doesn't follow this stuff. I sent him a link to the article. And he didn't have much to say after that. So I think a lot of people, frankly, in this country They feel they're so busy with their life. They might be. I don't know. But I don't understand how people cannot pay attention to these things. These radical people, like this article writer at Dickinson and these other anti-white people, they are dangerous. And it's only going to get worse when these people, if they get into positions of power. But some of these new crop of congresspeople, Cortez and the lady from Michigan and Minnesota, these people are radical socialists, people. They're not even disguising it. And they know exactly where socialism has led to every single time it has been tried. And they still support it. These are dangerous people. And we have millions of college kids in this country who are graduating with degrees in nonsense that have been propagandized to believe this shit about white men, about black men, about men in general, about Trump, about whatever. None of it is true. The simplest way is just to push back on them and say, okay, you believe Trump is a racist. What has he done as racist? Then immediately they'll just say, oh, fuck you. You're a whatever, right? This is standard shit. They can't even get to first base. But to dismiss these people as being some radical fringe group, I think is a large mistake. This is becoming mainstream. And if we don't push back, we all know where we're headed. And it's not a good place. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.